team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawg, and we're back to it. You know how we do it. I have a very special video for y'all today. It's not a basketball video, so don't be expecting no basketballs being dribbled, no shots being dunked in this video. But I think it's gonna be even more exciting because I've been reacting to some Larry Bird videos, and I've been asking the question: is Larry Bird and Magic Johnson the greatest individual rivalry ever? And don't get me wrong, a lot of the comments was like, of course they're the best individual rivalry ever. They played in the finals 3 times. They played in the national championship in college together. So I've been getting a lot of these for sure that it was those two. But sprinkled in those comments was a lot of like, no. Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali is by far greatest individual rivalry ever. So here we are, man. I heard this is a very good documentary, but before we get into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are on the way to 10K. So you right there that's watching, if you love videos like this, you are in the right place. You're in the right place. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and like this video if you like this video, and go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know, what is the greatest individual rivalry ever in sports? Is it Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali? Is it Larry Bird and Magic Johnson? Is it, somebody even said Kobe and Shaq. Like, I thought that was kind of funny too. But let's get into this video, man. I'm very excited. It's a 57-minute documentary. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna split it up into 3 videos. It's gonna be 3 parts, about 15 to 20 minutes each. And by the way, I'm not the biggest boxing guy, so I'm gonna need y'all to carry me for this video. So all y'all out there that really knows about their boxing, I'm gonna need y'all to write in the comments. I'm gonna need y'all to kind of help me out with this. Like, I'm a basketball guy, basketball connoisseur. Any basketball type stuff, I got you on that. But I love to, know my sports history. So the fact that, people was in there saying that this is the greatest individual rivalry ever, I'm gonna react to it. But again, I need y'all to kind of carry these comments for me. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know so much about this sport, because I don't. But yeah, this is part 1. So let's get into it. We got One Nation Divisible, Ali Frazier documentary. Let's get it.
This was the fight. This was it. Nothing fanciful.
The fight.
It was the essence of one against one. This stoic man from Beaufort, South Carolina, against this handsome, brash, outspoken guy, became bigger than life.
Greatest sporting event of the 20th century. 2 undefeated heavyweight champions against a backdrop unique in history.
This was
naked?
Crusades. Patriotic America versus radical America.
Here's this collision between the black militant and the black Tom.
Who's gonna win?
It was what boxing was meant to be, a real killing ground.
It was a fashion show. It was a celebrity walk. Everybody from every aspect of the entertainment and sports industry was there.
So, I know in today's world, the biggest fights are in Vegas. I see that this one was at Madison Square Garden in New York. So did it change? Was the main fights in New York back then, or did it just so happen to just be like they were still in Vegas back then? This one just so happened to be in New York. Let me know where the main fights were at back in, what is this, the 80s? I don't even really know the time period is. I'll let you know right there that I'm not that familiar with what's going on. How many times did Ali and Frazier fight? Like, let me know all that in the comments, man. Let me know all that.
On March 8, 1971,
71?
the eyes of the world were focused on a small square of illuminated canvas. Whatever you did, whoever you were, that night, that's where you wanted to be.
Let's get into it, man. Is Muhammad Ali the greatest boxer ever, though?
This fight
Let me know.
so much more about America than it was about boxing.
Why could everyone appreciate this confrontation between two undefeated heavyweights?
Ooh, both was undefeated.
To understand March 8th, 1971, you had to know who these fighters were and where they came from.
Joe Frazier was as different from Ali as night and day. Ali came from a middle-class Louisville family, had aunts that were teachers. Frazier came from what was then the hunger capital of America, Beaufort, South Carolina. At a very early age, he worked in the fields. He'd arrive in the morning a little after dawn, and he'd say, "Morning, boss," and the boss would say, "To the mule." And then the day would end, and he'd say, "Quitting time, boss," and the boss would say, "In the morning." This was the way the white world and the black world fit together in his Beaufort.
So in 1959, 15-year-old Joe Frazier left Beaufort and settled in Philadelphia, where he worked.
Damn, so they came from two different backgrounds. Didn't know that. They said Muhammad Ali was a little, I don't want to say privileged because I don't really know the whole thing, but Joe Frazier came from a way tougher background than Muhammad Ali. That's interesting to know.
Worked days in a slaughterhouse and nights learning to box.
The most exciting fighter in Rome this year was Cassius Clay.
That was his
Cassius.
name then, a 19-year-old Olympic gold medalist who suddenly was the talk of boxing.
I was shadow boxing early in the day. I figured I was ready for Cassius Clay. Said, "Feed, fire, foes, fun. Cassius Clay, here I come."
Like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Hey! Rumble, young man, rumble.
Hey.
The most charismatic athlete I've been around. The whole current to his behavior was to amuse and to entertain.
And if you like to lose your mind, be a fool on their own side.
There were a lot of fools. In their 1964 title bout, Sonny Liston was a 7-1 favorite.
7-1 favorite, and you getting your butt whooped?
The last word. And the loudest.
We start saying, "I'm pretty, I'm the greatest." Things like that we've never said before. And we say them anywhere, and we started looking at ourselves like we were pretty and that we were great because.
So, would y'all say that Cassius Clay, he was already very established before he changed his name? Let me know in the comments, like, because I think it's kind of difference between like Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He changed his name to Kareem, I think, early on, before he broke any records or before he was this super famous basketball player. So let me know. Is it the same with Muhammad Ali, or is it different? Was he already established? Was he already one of the greatest fighters in the world as Cassius Clay, and then being this famous guy, did he change his name? Or would you say that changing his name to Muhammad Ali is what made him become a bigger and better, fighter than he ever was? Let me know.
Cassius Clay.
But now that he was a champ, he suddenly announced that he was a black Muslim.
That kind of answered my question right there.
A group of Negro dissenters is taking to street corner stepladders across the United States to preach a gospel of hate.
The Nation of Islam, as we know, was dominated primarily by ne'er-do-wells, criminals, ex-prostitutes, drug dealers, pimps, pushers, etc. So to have a guy who didn't have a prison record,
I didn't know that,
was a radiant young man of the moment, come into that organization with a very big coup.
Cassius is not my name no more. Officially Muhammad Ali now. Muhammad Ali, right? Muhammad Ali. That's my name.
You just said his name different.
To announce that he was now a member of the Nation of Islam, I think it sent, in a way, shockwaves through the white establishment. And, of course, the end of the love affair with Cassius Clay, despite his skills as a fighter.
Joe Frazier of Philadelphia, 6'1", 196 pounds, a hard hitter.
Even with a dislocated thumb, Joe Frazier won the Olympic heavyweight gold medal at Tokyo in 1964, 4 years after Ali had won his. But when Joe returned to Philadelphia, that gold medal did not pay the bills.
Joe Frazier came home from the Olympics with a busted thumb and a busted bankroll. He didn't even have a job. It's close to Christmas, and I'm doing a radio show, and I asked the listeners to contribute toys for Joe's kids.
People all around the world send gifts, presents, checks, cash, and it really came out to be a good Christmas for the kids.
Because his thumb needed surgery, Joe waited nearly a year to make his pro debut in August 1965, a first-round knockout of Woody Goss. His payday? Joe kept the money from the tickets he sold to his own fight, about $125.
Wow.
And I remember the guy from the Associated Press asking Joe, did he want to fight Clay next? And Joe said, hey, slow down a little, you know.
That December, 40 Philadelphia businessmen, black and white, formed Cloverlay Inc. to back Joe's career. He got $100 a week, a percentage of the purse, and financial peace of mind.
They put together 80 shares at $250 a share, but nobody thought they were going to get rich on this.
Under the tutelage of manager Yank Durham, Frazier's career was building steadily, but not spectacularly. He was undefeated, but went largely unnoticed. At that time, there was only one fighter who got all the attention.
Was boxing just not really that big? How was Joe Frazier undefeated, knocking people out, but nobody really talking about him or, you know, investing in him? Like, why was the only person that people talked about was Muhammad Ali? Like, was it just... yeah, let me know. I don't have nothing else to ask, but answer that question for me. Why didn't Joe Frazier get the notoriety that he deserved? Let me know.
The resurrection of the fighter game. You are. If it wasn't for me, the whole thing would be dead. I guess that's true.
He was the champion. I was coming along 4 years behind, and I said, I don't believe that he can whip me.
I remember in 1966, Joe and I were at the Concord Hotel, and we were watching TV, and we were watching Muhammad Ali fight Henry Cooper, and he's saying, if I had that opportunity to be within the ring, he'd be laying on his back right now. I just want that opportunity, man.
But in 1967, the U.S. government's selective service system would beat Joe to the punch.
Over the communist aggression.
Cassius Clay, or as he prefers to be called, Muhammad Ali, reports to an Army induction center in Houston, Texas. However, he says he will refuse on religious grounds to take the Army oath, an act that could cost him a $10,000 fine or a 5-year prison sentence, or both.
He didn't understand why we were fighting a war thousands of miles away, and what would happen if the communists won. What would it mean? Hello? Are you missing silverware at home?
About going to war would help my people receive their freedom just as inequality. You don't have to drive me, I'll go tomorrow.
I remember very vividly that Cassius Clay suddenly became the great enemy of our family, and the comments that were being made around the dinner table were the same comments that were being made around the country. Oh yeah, he's so big and strong, he'll fight in a ring, but he's afraid to fight in Vietnam. He's a coward.
I respected Cassius as one of the great fighters of all time, but I think this hurts him, certainly in my eyesight.
I think it's very bad, especially a guy who made a lot of money in this country.
Joe Louis went into the United States Army. Why can't Muhammad Ali serve this country that has been so good to him?
People growing up today don't have any sense at all of how hated and despised and feared and reviled he was.
Do you think there's anything wrong in someone like Cassius Clay refusing induction?
Yes, sir. I certainly do.
Why?
Because he's no better than the rest of us.
The government announces it will institute felony.
I think he is a little better than the rest of us.
Say they will appeal, and World Boxing Organizations announce he has forfeited his heavyweight title.
Deferred from the draft because he was married with children, Frazier had not worried much about Vietnam.
How about Cassius Clay? What's your feeling about that situation?
Well, to me, if you like to step into politics on me, that's a little out of my line.
I mean, about fighting him. How do you think you'd make it?
I would love to fight for him.
It wasn't a big disappointment to me, but therefore I had to go on with my life. But I say to myself that we know the rules and regulations of our land,
And if he didn't fulfill it, well, therefore, whatever the consequence that he had to pay, that was his thing.
Why would people hate him for that, though? Like, you don't have a decision? Like, you can't just not want to go to Vietnam and that be okay? Like, why? Is it just because he was just such a high-profile guy that everybody feels, like, entitled to make decisions for him? Like, I don't know. Like, explain this a little bit more for me. Like, what was going through these people's heads on why you would be mad at a guy for not, fighting for the war? Like, you have that decision. Like, if you don't want to, you shouldn't have to. But the way those interviewers was talking that day, it was like, man, forget Muhammad Ali. He can fight in the ring, but he can't fight for our country. F him. Like, I think that's kind of crazy.
Refusing to take the symbolic step forward to join the military, Ali triggered a national debate, despised by some, embraced by others.
I think Cassius Clay took an honorable stand. He refused to be forced to go against his conscience. You support him? I support him and everybody like him.
There we go.
This black fighter who refused to go to Vietnam was willing to give up his career and his livelihood. That was awesome. That was incredibly inspiring.
He found that thing that both of these groups, the hippie generation and the black nationalist generation, seemed to agree on, which was Vietnam.
You could see the country actually dividing over what? Over a prize fighter.
With Ali out
That's
of the
crazy.
picture, the World Boxing Association announced an 8-man elimination tournament to produce its new champion. But Joe Frazier boycotted that tournament. Joe preferred to fight Big Buster Mathis for the nationally respected New York State Athletic Commission title.
Oh, knocked his big self out.
Clear-cut victory over Mathis. This board now recognized Joe Frazier as the heavyweight champion of the world.
For the anti-Ali voices, Joe Frazier was a throwback to another era.
Frazier was out of the Joe Louis mold. Was always very obliging, always smiled, and Frazier was no surprise. The other guy was...
All right, so let me get this straight. I kind of want to just kind of take in the information that I've received so far. So, Muhammad Ali was the champion. He was the heavyweight champion. And because he decided to not go to Vietnam, they took away his title and then made up a 8-fighter tournament to give the title to someone else. But Joe Frazier boycotted that. Not sure why. Let me know why. Did he just have that much respect for Muhammad Ali? So he boycotted that 8-fighter tournament to get the title they took away from Muhammad Ali. And Joe Frazier went and just fought somebody else on a separate fight. And I guess he whooped him so bad, they still decided to give him the heavyweight champion. Like, kind of, if I'm off on that, correct that for me. But that's the information I done got so far. So I can see why Muhammad Ali is so much more famous than Joe Frazier because of, all the political stuff that, Muhammad Ali was involved in. And I can see the hype being formed slowly but surely over these years. So when it was time for them to fight, I can see all this stuff building up to, it's going to sound like going to be some super great fights. I think the special thing too is I have no idea who won. I think they might have fought 3 times. I don't even know who won none of those fights. So this is about to be great. This is about to be great.
It's a whole revolution.
I'm champion with the people to be recognized here in America and throughout the world, Asia and Africa. He's got to whoop me.
Joe Frazier filled in a blank space, which was vacated by Muhammad Ali. And for that reason, most people are still saw in Muhammad Ali the champion of the world.
So Muhammad Ali just not fighting during this time?
Well known, and everyone kept saying, but you never fought Muhammad Ali.
Not that he didn't want to, but with no boxing commission willing to license Ali for a fight, that was impossible.
Right, okay, so he wasn't even fighting.
Exile would last nearly 3.5 years.
Joe himself felt that which had happened to Ali was unfair. And he said this to Ali, eyeball to eyeball. Whatever it takes for me to lend myself to you in getting licensed again, I'll be there for you.
He called, say, well, hey man, I want my license. What can we do? I said, I'll see what I can do to help you get the license.
So they was actually good friends, it seemed
Washington
like.
to meet informally with boxing officials to support the licensing of Ali.
They would just have good, respectful conversations with one another. Yeah, Joe, we gonna get it on. You know what I mean? We gonna break all box office records. You know what I'm saying?
But all those box office records were still in Ali's dreams.
He was broke. He was almost forced to ask you for $100 so he could do an interview, which he never would have done before, did do afterwards.
To stay afloat financially, Ali lectured to college students. He appeared on Broadway, if only to pay all his lawyers who were taking his case to the Supreme Court. Joe Frazier even chipped in.
We were in New York, Joe and I. Boondini Brown happened to see us pull up to the hotel. He said they were having a problem with Ali's bill. I told Boondini, let me talk to Joe about it. Got Ali to get into the limo.
I gave him a ride, put some love in his hand, okay? Some money.
It's like a couple
Some love, I like that.
Ali, no, I put it in his shirt pocket. When Ali gets out of the car, it was like a switch went on. He started, all right, Frazier, out the car now, I want you now.
I'm on my power of y'all, and I'm gonna give him a good whooping.
Joe Frazier got my championship. I want to fight Joe Frazier.
I'm gonna whoop Joe Frazier. I'm gonna show him who the real world champion is.
And Joe was going, what's wrong with this guy?
As if Muhammad Ali...
And that's where we're going to stop this video at. What is Muhammad Ali on? Joe Frazier just helped him. Well, he just needed a little money in his pocket for him to be able to speak up on what he had on his mind. I don't know what happened, man, but this is about to be a great 3-part video. I hope y'all enjoyed part 1. That's where we ending this one at. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Make sure you turn those post notifications on too so you can be ready for part 2. Go ahead and like this video if you like this video. And go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about that last Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier instance where they said Muhammad Ali couldn't pay the bill for something. And Joe Frazier was making a little bit more money at this time. He was fighting and doing his thing, and he called him up, got him in a limo, gave him some money, and they said as soon as Muhammad Ali got out of the limo, he started talking shit. So let me know how y'all feel about that, man. But I appreciate y'all like always. We out.